Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Synchroid Astrology. Makayla here for the Taurus new moon of 2024. So this is a few hours after the new moon actually happened. It was exact on May 7th, 11:22 p.m. East Coast time. So you want to adjust the astrology chart for where you're living in the world. And I will say that you can, if you missed your opportunity, if you feel like you missed your opportunity to manifest under this new moon, you didn't. I would actually utilize your manifestations from now, from last night, from now, all the way until Monday next week when the moon shifts into Leo. Because today the moon's still in Taurus. It will be void of course for a few hours in the afternoon, starting at 5 o'clock, and then it shifts into Gemini. And that Gemini moon will have a sextile to the North Node in Aries and all of the placements that we have in Aries right now, which are kicking up new beginnings for us in our life. And then a couple of days after that, the moon will shift into Cancer and form a sextile to the planets in Taurus. And earth and water are really good for growing things and planting things and nurturing them. So I would just keep on rolling with the things that you want to bring in over the next couple of days until the 13th next week on Tuesday. Okay. And another reason why I waited to put out this video and record it, because it's Wednesday now at 2:20 in the afternoon, post new moon exact. I really wanted to embody the energy. I wanted to feel into the energy. I wanted to know what it was feeling like, so that I could bring a more spiritual approach for everybody here on YouTube. I could give some practical sense of understanding how you can capitalize on this, right? Because this is, in theory, the best new moon of 2024. Now, of course, there'll be other good new moons within the year, and it will depend on where it's happening in your personal natal chart and what planets it's aspecting. But as a whole, if we're looking at the entire transits for 2024, this new moon is just accompanied by Jupiter Uranus post conjunction, which, I have videos out on that if you want to check them out. Once in a lifetime transit for us to have. A new moon with Jupiter there means that we could experience great opportunities. New moon with Uranus there means that we could really liberate ourselves from things that are constricting and maybe not be allowing us to have the total freedom or the happiness that we want, or at least level us up. This is a level up type of new moon. And also Venus is there, right? So two of the big topics that my clients come to, and I think that most people are focused on, is relationships, love, right? Connection, and money and abundance. And so Venus is backing us up here with this new moon too. So, I might pull up the chart. I'm mostly going to talk about this energy and what I think us individuals should be focusing on. Okay. So when you're focusing on manifesting with Taurus energy, you want to understand what Taurus is about, right? And you have Taurus somewhere in your chart. You have a Venus somewhere in your chart. You have a second house somewhere in your chart. So this new moon is really about cultivating a new beginning for us in our lives around self-sustainability and luxury and personal assets and resources. Okay. So this is the type of new moon where you want to sit with what is of value to you right now, like what is important to you in your life. There's no wrong answer. Okay. I was sitting in my bed last night looking at what I wanted to call in, and some of it is related to money and growth and so forth. Some of it is related to popularity and growth and so forth. And some of it is spiritual and just comfort and luxury overall. There's no wrong answer, right? It looks different to everybody because everybody's essential needs, what you need to feel like you need to be living a comfortable life, what you have enough of, what you feel content with. You want to feel into that, and that's what you want to call in. If you're somebody who needs more abundance in resources than others, there's nothing wrong with that, right? For instance, I'm somebody who loves to wear makeup and so forth, and then some people are just like totally okay with not wearing anything, and that's what they value. So there's no right or wrong here, okay? This new moon is meant to stabilize you in a position of abundance and comfort going forward, okay? And it has taken place at 18 degrees of Taurus in your chart, okay? So plus or minus 10 degrees, look at if there's any planets on either side being hit. Plus or minus 10 degrees of 18 Taurus, look if there's an opposition, okay? That means you're going to want to integrate the planets on the other side, and you're going to integrate that into your new moon. And then look at the squares, right? Plus or minus 10 degrees on either side of 18 of Leo and Aquarius, okay? And there will be some tension there, but it's going to actually require you to move in a step forward, right? In some way or another. The new moon doesn't promise growth and expansion and abundance without necessary action being taken place. So I do want to remind us that, yes, call it in, but then do the necessary steps to work towards that goal. Okay. It doesn't have to be a marathon. I mean, it doesn't have to be a sprint. Okay. It's more like a marathon, especially with Taurus stuff. And I was actually laughing before I jumped on this call because I was like, wow, I took my time to put this content out, which is a Taurus quality, right? It's kind of a little bit more slower. It can be a little bit more stubborn, or it's just more relaxed in its energy, right? That's when Taurus is high vibrational, right? When it can be more relaxed, more content, more self-sufficient, turn more yin, more inward. And that's really what you might have been feeling under this energy too, right? You could have felt pulled away from your relationships, right, over the last couple of days. You could have felt a need to retract, to retreat, to go more within, right? I can do this on my own. I can be more self-sustaining on my own. I can be self-preserving, right? And it's not to say that this is a lasting thing, but right now in this special moment in time, look at the areas of your life that you're wanting to gain abundance in and growth, and expand, right? And notice the subtle shifts within you where you know that there's a certain responsibility that you need to take for this, right? A certain inward look, if you will, at the fact that, am I self-reliant enough where I can make this happen, where I can make this grow? Okay. There's also this survival quality under Taurus, and we look at the Taurus archetype, right? The means for survival. And what does that look like? Again, we're all human, we all have human bodies, so we all need shelter, water, and proper nutrition, right? Those can be just basic necessities and needs, right? But then look out farther, like think farther for yourself, think big picture, because Jupiter and Uranus are here with this lunation, okay? And Venus is here. So we'll touch on Venus in a second, but I encourage people to broaden their landscape, okay? Because of the Jupiter-Uranus combination going on with this lunation, Jupiter's asking us to take a risk, okay? It's asking us to expand, and it's asking us to trust in ourselves, in the belief that we can reach farther, expand farther, grow more, stretch your heart out more, stretch your beliefs more, your confidence even, right? It's actually pulling us apart and stretching us out, making us realize that we can take up more space, that we're larger than we think we are, that we can have more than we ever thought we could, right? And so I actually encourage people to look at what you need on the basic necessary level, and then think about, what if I had a little bit extra? Okay. What would I do if I had a little bit extra of that resource? If I had a little bit of extra this, if I had a little bit more love in my life, if I had a little bit more money, right? If I had a little bit bigger of a house, right? What would I do? And not in this greedy sense where it would go to waste, because Taurus does not like waste. Okay. But an opportunity to confront your own limitations, where on the other side, right, Scorpio, on the other side, it's like our psychological and emotional fears and blockages can become the necessary things that we need to confront in order for us to grow in our personal assets, to grow our personal wealth, right? to grow our personal sense of security and confidence, like inwardly. Okay. And that's really supportive under here. Okay. That's really supportive under this new moon. And with Venus being there as well, we're meeting this archetype of how does that meet us within our own personal social values? And then how are we integrating that within the social sphere, Venus things, right? Collaboration with others, right? Connecting with others and so forth, right? There's a lot of room under this new moon for us to actually get what we want, grow what we want, plant the seeds, and over the last, like, I'd say 48 hours, I was really confronted personally with, and maybe this is relatable to some people or not, but I was really confronted with having to go within with my own needs and knowing that they're not going to be validated or I'm pulling in Leo, but they're not going to be validated or because it's square my nodes in Leo or fulfilled, if you will. That's the word I'm looking for. Fulfilled by other people's circumstances and things. It's completely your own journey. And, sometimes that can be a tough pill to swallow, but the Taurus new moon is really echoing that out loud, right? So there are just certain things in life that, while being on Earth School, and this is something I talk about in my sacral chakra mini teaching, that, and also my third eye mini teaching, that your needs have to be fulfilled within. And until we learn as humans that life lesson, we will continually get confronted with disappointment and disillusionment and the dissolving of desires and relationships and things that we put our power outside of ourselves, right? Without learning that we have that preservation within ourselves. Okay. And that's like a really strong echo here. So part of this new moon is realizing that it's about focusing on you, and it's about focusing on your own journey and what you need to thrive every day when you wake up, right? That can be as simple as a health routine that you must stick to, taking care of your body, taking care of your nutrition, taking care of your health. That could be your daily spiritual practice, if you will. That can be working towards your own personal business. I mean, whatever it is, right? Your garden, say you love your garden and it makes you happy and it makes you thrive. This lunation is echoing the fact that we want to look at what is self-preserving for us as an individual. Okay. So I'm just going to bring up the chart really quickly. Because it was really quite simple with this lunation, and I don't want to make it too complicated for people and just break stuff down. There are a couple of uncomfortable things that I think could happen under this lunation, but again, it's just going to return you back in on yourself. So here we go. So as you can see, it's for May 7th, 2024 at 11:22 p.m. And down here, it's 18 degrees, right? 18 degrees of Taurus, with Venus here as well. So there is a T-square in the chart, and a T-square is, definitely a point of contention. It's not really comfortable, and it's with the South Node here at 15 degrees, and Lilith is there as well. And then the other side of it is the Mercury Chiron, and then Ceres is over here forming that T. Okay, so there's a tension between nurturing Ceres and Capricorn, nurturing what is necessary for us to hold boundaries, and also nurturing our emotional maturity under this new moon, which could get triggered in various ways because of the fact that Chiron and Mercury are here at the other end, okay, the other end of the T square, okay? And so there's a dynamic where, you know, the South Node is about releasing. It's also about integrating things in a new way with a T square. And because the South Node is on Lilith, there's part of this new moon that I think people initiating new things for themselves that's self-preserving and important for them to be happy and to thrive every single day. There's a part of this lunation where it might rock the boat in relationships, okay? Lilith and Libra. It might be like, well, this is my freedom, this is what I want, and partner may or may not receive that in the light that you have hoped for them to, right? It just depends where partners are spiritually with you on your journey. But there is this necessary dynamic to have this Lilith story underneath where you need to understand that you might rock the boat with people in your relationships right now, right? But the fact is that Ceres and Capricorn here wants you to maintain, to nurture the crops, your emotional crops, right? Your emotional maturity, like remain strong, remain authoritative of where you stand your ground. Mercury on Chiron, it might trigger somebody, right? Verbally, it might come out under this new moon. You know, I really don't appreciate how this makes me feel anymore. And I'm not going to accept that, because in order for me to wake up every day and feel healthy and happy and to work towards my goals, this can't happen anymore, right? So it's like conversations like that, you know, and very much partnerships, I think, are being activated here. The relationship axis of Aries and Libra are being activated, and also the essential need formula in the EA paradigm of Taurus, Pisces, and Libra itself is being activated under this lunation. So definitely relationships are a big thing. They're being triggered, especially with Venus here on the new moon. But I wouldn't worry, because after this lunation in a few days, Venus is going to transit over the sun and kind of get revitalized with the sun's energy, if you will. Okay, it'll be a Venus cazimi, but it's going to be revitalized. It's going to be getting a sense of new empowerment for the self and hopefully for your relationships and for other people too. Okay. Excuse me one sec. Allergies this year are super bad. The other thing is there's a yod in the sky also with the South Node here, and then we've got Saturn on one side and the moon and the sun on the other. Yods tend to trigger the energy off into the South Node. And so, you know, Saturn and Pisces here, it's been in here for a little bit now, and we still got a little bit more time going. But what's essentially happening is that structures in our life and boundaries and habits and the way that we've done things for a very long time are dissolving and eroding. And Saturn in Pisces is asking us to devote ourselves to things that are going to last for the next 30 years, that are going to help your spiritual practice grow, your emotional conditioning grow, and also testing our levels of compassion, right? It's really testing our levels and layers of compassion and forgiveness. And I promise you, if you return to love constantly and constantly and constantly, the harshness that Saturn can bring, or the harsh realities that life can bring, they start to erode, and you start to embody this letting go ability, and this unbothered ability, not in a way that you ignore a problem, in a way that you have a wider lens and sense of perspective and compassion to withhold suffering and anger and resentment and changes and shifts within the world, within the people around you, their lives, and then the stuff going on within your life. You begin to dissolve the rigid boundaries that you use as protection at one point. It's really about dissolving that and reaching new layers of compassion and forgiveness and love for yourself and for other people. But please start with yourself first. You're number one, and you deserve that. You desire that. And then also, you know, the Uranus, the sun moon here on the other side of the South Node is, you know, almost in the South Node is really asking us to make shifts emotional and psychological shifts within our values, within our structure, so that we can now do relationships in a new way. Okay, so that we can now cultivate relationships in a new way. And relationships, again, I've said this in other videos, but it's really important to focus on them right now, because essentially what you're doing with the South Node and Libra is bringing in the tribes and the people and the connections that are going to support you for the next 20 years in your Pluto and Aquarius journey. Okay. And you're also removing the ones that won't. All right. And also on a deeper layer, that goes with your values too, right? Those things are being eroded and dissolved as well. We've got a lot of stelliums in the chart. So there's clusters of energy. If you take away the asteroids, right, and we just looked at the planets, this is a bucket chart. So the South Node is holding all of the weight on one side and kind of directing the energy for all of the planets on the other side, right? We've got a Taurus stellium over here, and we've got an Aries stellium over here. And a little bit on the side is the Pisces, right? Essentially, this is a bucket chart. So the South Node is holding all of the weight, right? It's asking us to bring in things from the past, reintegrate things from the past, and then either release or let go, or figure out new ways of doing, relating to others, new ways of structuring the way you socialize with others, the way you do partnerships, the way you do contracts, the way that you handle balance in your life, okay? And finding balance and so forth, okay? So South Node is a pretty big deal, and the ruler, again, of this new moon is Venus, and the South Node is ruling Venus. So Venus really is an answer right here of focusing on structure, stability, support, self-reliance, okay? Coming into yourself, being grounded, being hyper aware of where you need to transcend your own personal, psychological, and emotional limits within yourself. What is it that blocks you from allowing abundance? What is it that blocks you from allowing growth, trust in yourself, confidence in yourself? Experiencing deep sexual unions, right? Sexuality is a huge theme with Taurus, okay? What is your sexual nature? Connecting to the meaning, right? The values, the meanings behind what you believe, okay? Because your values, ultimately, those supply your life, okay? Your values, what's important to you, those supply your beliefs, and your thoughts start to structure your consciousness and your life. Really, it structures your third eye, and what you project out in the world, what you see in front of you, is what you're projecting out from your belief structure, okay? So I really wanted to keep it simple, so I hope this is helpful with everybody. I'm going to stop sharing the screen because I just want to talk about integrating the chakras as well under this lunation. So like I said, again, manifest for the next few days, okay? And make sure you're really strong on your values, right? Make sure you're really aligned with, this is what I want, this is what I'm calling in, and stick to it. Stay to it, stick to it, stick to it. Fixed. Taurus is a fixed sign. Stay on it. You might need to be flexible throughout the next 2 years as these things grow, for sure. Like there might be changes and shifts, but just know that that end goal, like that's what you're reaching for, okay? And ground yourself with focusing on the root chakra, and take some time to go out into nature, dig your toes into the ground, dig your toes into the sand, to the grass and whatnot. I like to use tiger iron. I like to put tiger iron in between my toes and meditate for a little bit, and picture yourself being really stable and sturdy, and knowing that you have the confidence and you have all of the resources and the abilities, right? Believe it, that you do, to go where you want to go, to use this new moon to manifest what you want in your life, okay? It's really a juicy new moon. You know, it might be triggering because of the Aries stellium there with Eris and Chiron, and Mercury on Chiron. And Mercury is hitting another hammer of Thor today. So you know, it's the third one, but then we're like going to be done with the Mercury retrograde shadow next week, and that is going to be a nice shift for everybody to experience. But just really focus on aligning your chakras as well, and feeling really safe, steady, soft, grounded, okay, ready to go, but like you have the resource, you have the ability, you have the beliefs to carry you through. Give yourself some patience, right? But give yourself ultimately like the soft, nurturing, deep, strong talk with your inner self that you can get there, right? You can do what you want to do. You can make it happen, okay? It's just one step at a time, okay? So these things, these manifestations, right? These new moon dreams, these new moon seeds being planted under this one in 2024. You know, part of me feels like some of them will take a little bit, of course, to grow because Taurus is a slow energy. But also, as we experience the sun crossover Jupiter and Uranus, and Venus crossover Jupiter and Uranus, and eventually Mercury go over those parts of the chart where that Jupiter Uranus conjunction happened last week, there also will be this like surprise acceleration of some sort. So I would expect that for some people as well, that just unexpected blessings, unexpected surprises. But again, it's not without risk, and it's not without chance, and it's not without a little bit of effort. Will you see those things arrive for you? Okay. So anyway, thank you for being here. If you enjoyed this video or if you like my content, please make sure that you subscribe, hit the notification bell, and hit the like button so this video can reach other people and my channel can grow. And please, like always, leave a comment. I love to respond and read your comments and see what you're growing, what's going on for you. And just let me know. Let me know what you're calling in. It's helpful to like actually put it out there and type it out into the universe. And you know, speak it, think it, believe it, type it, share it, everything, you know, and watch it flourish. So anyway, love you all. I'll be back soon.